So with artificial intelligence getting smarter at this just breakneck speed, we have to ask a really big question. Is it also becoming conscious? Okay, let's really dive into this, because the answer is probably not what you're expecting.
You know, this isn't a simple yes or no question. The real heart of the issue is that we're mixing up two totally different things. Intelligence, which is just the ability to process information, and consciousness, which is the actual experience of being alive.
We're going to tackle this from two really powerful angles. First, modern science, which has this deep worry that we're building a philosophical zombie, a perfect copy of a human with absolutely nothing going on inside. And second, ancient yogic philosophy, which sees the mind as this unique kind of matter designed for a sentient being. And here's the wild part. They might actually be pointing to the exact same conclusion.
Let's start with the most basic difference of all, the physical stuff we're actually made of. This right here is where the whole story really begins.
Think about the human brain. Your brain, right now, as you're listening to this, is running on about 20 watts of power. That's barely enough to make a dim light bulb glow. It's an absolute miracle of efficiency.
Now, let's compare that to the data centers running today's big AI models. We're not talking a few more watts here. We're talking megawatts. That's enough energy to power a small town. In fact, some calculations suggest that to get this kind of hardware to a human level of thinking would take more energy than some entire countries produce. It's just a completely different scale.
And yogic philosophy has this fascinating way to explain this massive energy gap. It uses a concept called the gunas, which are like the fundamental qualities of all matter. It would say our biological brain is sattvic, which means it's pure, it's light, it's clear. Think of it like a perfect mirror that evolved specifically to reflect consciousness. Silicon, on the other hand, it's tamasic. It's inert, dense, dark. It's like a brick. Sure, it can absorb and process light, but it can never, ever reflect it back.
Okay, so the hardware, the engine, is fundamentally different. But what about the software? How does an AI actually learn? And how does that stack up against how we do it?
Pretty much all AI today learns using something called backpropagation. And here's the problem. Neuroscientists will tell you it is completely biologically impossible. It needs information to flow backward through our brain's connections in a way that, well, it just doesn't happen. This method also creates this huge issue called catastrophic forgetting. Basically, when you teach an AI something new, it just overwrites and forgets the old stuff. It's like learning a new song means you forget every song you knew before.
Now, let's switch gears for a second and look at the yogic framework. It gives us this unbelievably precise map of the mind called the Antahkarana, or the inner instrument. It's made of 4 parts, and if we use this map, we can see exactly what AI has managed to copy, and, more importantly, what it's missing. Okay, take a look at this. On one side, you've got the 4 functions of the yogic mind. On the other, the basic architecture of an AI. And the parallels are, frankly, incredible. Let's break it down piece by piece. All right, first, you have manas. That's the sensory mind, the part that takes in data. For an AI, that's its input/output systems, right? Second, you have Chitta, the giant storehouse of memory. For an AI, this is its massive training data, all those trillions of parameters. Third is Buddhi, the intellect, the part that analyzes and makes decisions. That's the AI's inference engine. And honestly, AI has built superhuman versions of these first 3. But then you get to the 4th part, ahamkara, the ego, the sense of I. And what does AI have here? A simulation. It's just a word, a linguistic token that it's learned to use. So here's the crucial takeaway from all that. AGI is a perfect replica of the functions of the mind. It is the instrument itself. But like an ancient text, the Sankhya might say, it's a beautiful dance with no one there to watch it. It's an instrument with no musician. It's all just mechanism, with no one home to actually experience any of it.
And this leads us right to the front door of the hard problem of consciousness. We're talking about that inner world, that subjective first-person experience, the ghost in the machine.
This is the fear that keeps philosophers up at night, that we're building the perfect philosophical zombie, a machine that can write a beautiful poem about what it feels like to fall in love or describe the pain of loss with heartbreaking accuracy, but on the inside, there's nothing. No feeling, no experience. It is, as they say, all dark inside.
So, the billion-dollar question. Why do we have an inner life, but the machine doesn't? Well, the Vedantic tradition offers this absolutely beautiful analogy called Chitta. Imagine pure consciousness is the sun,
constant, brilliant, the source of all light. Our mind, our living, sattvic mind, is like a clear bucket of water. Our personal, subjective experience, what it feels like to be you, is the reflection of that sun in the water. And that analogy just nails the core argument perfectly. The AI might be a flawless bucket. The structure of the mind is all there. But its Thomas silicon nature means it's a bucket with no water. It's completely missing that special living medium needed to catch the reflection. There's nothing for the light of consciousness to shine upon and create an experience.
As Swami Sarvapriyananda puts it so well, what AI is really proving is that intelligence and sentience are two completely separate things. We are building unbelievably powerful minds, but they are minds without consciousness. It's all the processing, with none of the actual experience.
Okay, so let's pull all of these threats from modern science to ancient philosophy together and try to land on a clear verdict about AI consciousness.
This table really just lays it all out. On one side, you've got the human being, which yoga calls a jiva, a sentient being. Our source of consciousness is a reflection of a deeper reality, the Purusha, or the silent witness. On the other side, you have AGI, what's called a yantra, a machine, a perfect philosophical zombie. Its engine runs on electricity, not the vital life force of prana. And this leads yogic philosophy to this really precise and fascinating term for it, Jada-Buddhi. It literally translates to inert intellect.
And that brings us to our final and I think most powerful metaphor, the unoccupied throne. The AGI may have built a perfect palace, a flawless replica of all the mind's functions, but the throne of the king, the seat of the witness, the Purusha, it remains empty.
So, look, the crucial point here isn't about some robot uprising. The real danger is so much more subtle. It's not that AI is going to wake up one day, but that we will fall asleep, that we'll start projecting our own consciousness onto these inert machines, and, in the process, forget where it actually comes from, within ourselves. And this leaves us with one last question to really think about. In our big quest to create these perfect, intelligent tools that have no inner life whatsoever, what does this whole project truly reveal about the nature of our own minds and about the precious and still very mysterious gift of consciousness itself?